Welcome back to another episode of Innovation for Entrepreneurs, the podcast that unlocks the secrets of successful product and service innovation and launch for businesses. I'm your host, Megan Anderson, innovationist, startup COO, and founder of Your Business Copilot, here to guide you through the exciting journey of entrepreneurship and innovation. Let's get started. Welcome back to Innovation for Entrepreneurs. Host here, Megan Anderson, and I'm super excited about today's episode. And the reason why is because we've had lots of great guests on the podcast so far, but this is the first guest that we've had that's been in the product realm. And also not only product, but a product from a background that's near and dear to my heart. It's where I got started in innovation myself. And it's in the SaaS market. So those of you that are unfamiliar with SaaS stands for Software as a Service. And today we have Elina with us, who is building her very own SaaS product. I'll let her introduce herself and all about the product to you. She can do that much better than I can. But Elina is actually from Amsterdam, but is tuning in with us from Greece today. So again, really excited for you to be here. Thank you so much for spending time with me and our listeners today. So yes, tell us more about yourself, your product, your background, maybe what led you to building or on your journey to build this awesome platform that I'm so excited for everyone to hear about.
Thank you, Megan, for the introduction and for the invitation to this podcast. I'm quite excited to have this chat with you. Maybe before starting, I can give a small introduction about myself. Indeed, I'm based in Amsterdam, but I'm from Athens, and now I'm tuning in from there. And I have a not a typical journey, I would say. So I started in business, my first degree. I worked for 4 years in marketing, and then I decided to do a career switch. So I went back to uni to do a master's in artificial intelligence engineering. So I really wanted to build a multidisciplinary background, and I thought that business and tech is like a really strong combination. So I went for it, especially AI before it was a hype.
Yeah.
So after that, I worked as an engineer for 2 years in an AI agency. And then after that experience, I thought that, I really want a role that combines both. Product was the perfect role for me. So I joined a startup as a product owner. And last year, I built an AI chatbot to automate their customer support, which did really great. And after that experience, I realized my strength. I was like, oh my God, I am quite good at this. And this gave me a lot of confidence. And entrepreneurship was something that I always had dear in my heart and was like always an ambition of mine. But I never felt confident to start doing it. But after that experience, I was like, okay, it needs to happen. It's time. I need to do something with it.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, I didn't have an idea, so I didn't know what I'm gonna build. But it kind of came to me later on because I decided I want to do something in the area of spirituality, which is another topic that I'm really passionate about, and it really opened up to me last year, and it kind of changed everything, the way I perceive things, I see things, etc. So I decided to build a platform for lightworkers, who are people who offer services in the broad area of spirituality, of alternative healing, etc. Some examples are holistic therapy, coaching, energy healing, hypnotherapy, mediumship, readings, etc. And I'm connecting the lightworkers with people who are looking for this kind of services, and they're looking for support in their journey of awakening, healing, transformation, and ascension. It has been a really fun time working on it and developing the first version of the platform. I've currently launched the beta, which has the most important pages, like the homepage, a page with the overview of all the light workers, where you can also filter them per modality or availability or location, and then the light worker profile, where people can add like their photos and their offerings, like their catalog with a description, a duration, etc., and their price, and then more information about the light workers, like where they're located, what are the languages that they work with, a bio, and also a list of their trainings and certifications. So a new client who comes on the platform, they can see about their background, what they have been focusing on, etc. And what I really like about this is I encourage people to also add other degrees or backgrounds apart from their healing work, let's say, because most of the people had another career before, like a different career, and then they decided to switch to give like the more spiritual services, let's say. And I find this amazing because I would like really connect with these people, because it's different to know that, oh, I'm talking to someone who has similar experiences as me before, so I can connect better.
Yeah, connection is so powerful, and I think we can connect on so many different ways. And I think that's really smart of your business too, because when you're working with somebody in spirituality or healing, I think people are often looking for somebody who they trust, which involves connection and such, even before they, go down the road of receiving any type of service for them. So I think that's really smart of you. I'm going to commend you on finding two passions and merging them together. That sounds incredible. Pulling from your past experiences and your strengths. I myself went on a similar journey probably in the last year. And maybe this sounds like a lot of entrepreneurs out there. Maybe this is you right now, is you can be like a badass boss. You have what it takes to be an entrepreneur, a CEO, just that next level person that you just, have this vision of being, but you may not know what you're going to do yet. And that's okay. Like, keep testing. I tested a lot of things before I landed where I am now, which I think is really starting to find my space. But keep testing. Work with people out there. There's people that work specifically in that area to help you find like what that next business idea is going to be if you really think that you can do it. It sounds like it just came to you, which is amazing. Maybe it was just right timing. But it did sound like there was a period of time where you kind of went through that too. Like, I want to do this, but I don't know what it is yet. And then finally, all the pieces started to come together. So,
Yeah, definitely. I think the most important is to just take the decision to start, even though no one is completely ready, right? When they start, no one has everything figured it out. But I think taking the decision, it's the really first important milestone for someone's journey, and then the rest is gonna come to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't echo that enough. So congratulations on launching your beta and, bringing in those early adopters into your product, which is an app, right? It's a app-based platform,
It's a
or is it website and
web-based,
app?
yeah.
It is web-based. Okay. And so I want to talk about that a little bit more because I'm so passionate about this particular part in the build process. And that's when you get into first launch, MVP, testing, iterating, building as you go, maybe bringing in a little bit of early revenue to help your business along the way. I have kind of a mantra for myself, and it's let's make decisions based off data and not assumptions. And launching betas and MVPs and testing and pivoting and gathering that data before you make those next step decisions and investment is a really good strategy to make those assumption or database decisions and not assumption based decisions. So tell me more about that process. Are you anything that you're learning right now that's, aligning the next work to come in your build process, or where are you at with that?
Yeah, so for me, I think I build very organically, and I try to take like all the experience that I have, like as a product owner before, and really focus on the next step. Because sometimes I got myself getting a little bit overwhelmed. It's like, oh, I'm just starting a new company, which can be a lot. So I'm like, okay, let's see what are the next steps right in front of me, being it either, okay, I need to build the wireframes or to do the designs or to do this basic setup for the dev stuff, etc. And then when I go to development, I just say, okay, I need to build these parts and these will have like these features, etc. So really focus on the and steps in front of me and start executing. I'm trying to like be in execution mode and less like the thinking mode sometimes. And just keep going, and then as soon as I have something ready, I just push it live. So like I really want to build stuff and then push them live and then get feedback from people. Feedback also in terms of asking people to join, to see if people like it, what do they say about it, because in the end that's what matters, right? To build something
Mm-hmm.
useful for the people in the space and also end customers. But yeah, your success, it's how people like your platform, and if there is a need for it. So that's the kind of feedback I'm looking for. So yeah, in terms of the process, I would say I just finished, like, let's say the third month of working on it every day. I don't work full time on it because I still have my 9 to 5. So I work in the morning, in the evening, on the weekends. I take my
Oh yeah.
holidays,
Yep.
etc.
Yep.
Which is really fun. I really enjoy this period. I find it amazing. So I spent the first month working on all the preparation, like the wireframes and the designs, and really thinking how the platform is gonna look like, what kind of things I'm gonna include. So more like the product elements. Yeah, giving it a go on the branding, the look and feel, etc. And then after 1 month I start developing, so I start building the front end. So like my background in engineering, I was a machine learning engineer, so I was doing machine learning pipelines, model training, etc. I've never built like a platform, so I didn't know about front end, back end a little bit, but not front end at all actually. So
Mm-hmm.
I took a course. And then the course had a project. So what I did, I was just learning and then coding my platform at the same time. And through this process, I learned, and now of course, I'm independently keep coding my platform. So I launched like the wait list. They say it's good, before you even have a product, to just put the idea out, have a wait list, and then start giving it to people to get some initial
Yeah.
feedback, right? So that's what I did. I put the wait list out. I start getting people joining in even though I had nothing published, which was
Yep.
quite
Yeah.
encouraging, I would say. Yeah, it gives you energy, right? Because if
It
people
does.
like the idea, at least on paper, and they even get excited, etc. That's really good sign. And then I built like the rest of the beta, and then I also launched it. And so now, like, I also did things in parallel. So I do like coding, and then all the promotion to the light workers, and then to people who have joined the waitlist, I onboard them. They give me their profile, I put it on the platform, etc. So these two things run in parallel. And now I'm working full speed for the MVP. So I'm including like the backend and the database, etc. So and all the basic functionalities of the MVP, and I still get like more people on the waitlist joining, more profiles in order to build the catalog. So yeah, hopefully by the time you air this podcast, the MVP is out.
Yeah. Yeah. What a great goal.
Yeah. So in
I will.
terms of testing and iterations. I don't have anything of like super structure set up. I just send it to friends and ask for feedback. Tell me what they think, what things need some improvement, etc. So yeah, like I'm improving on the go, of course. Yeah. So I try to keep it like very natural and very like I would say down to earth process. It's like, okay, what am I building? This just make a list and then keep doing it, and
Yeah.
then yeah, the next step, etc., etc. I'm not thinking too far away in the future, just to make it manageable in my head. That's the
Yeah, I
main
think that's
reason.
smart. Yeah, I think that's smart. You touched on a couple of things, promoting, putting it out there, creating even just this little bit of hype to get people on your wait list. Again, that's a form of testing. You're testing and trying to validate your idea before you get too far down all of this time and money spent on building something that you think is going to be great, but is there a market out there that think it's going to be one great, but also there's a need, right?
Mhm.
So I think creating that wait list and having an abundance of people, it sounds like, who have already joined is just validating that you're on the right track. So congratulations on that part. And then just getting things out there and getting initial feedback is super important. And if you're not thinking about this already, this is a strategy that I use and I encourage others to use in the beta and MVP process. But start gathering some case studies, maybe some of those early adopters who have joined the waitlist, create a deeper connection with them and ask if they'd like to go down this collaboration route with you. So they're not only just signing up for your platform, but you're having regular cadence meetings with them, getting that deeper understanding of that feedback loop. And then you can follow them on your journey as you build out your platform, and you can get some really rich statistical numbers where you could say, hypothetically, this spiritual advisor or, one of my customers who joined the platform prior was only bringing in X amount of revenue or X amount of clients to her business. But after joining my platform, now that's times 10. What an
Yeah.
incredible story. And you share that, and others are going to naturally see the value in your product and be like, oh my gosh, I have to join that. It's beneficial to my business. So
Yeah.
any plans, or have you thought about a route in
Yeah,
that customer
definitely.
segment?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that's something very useful for both ends. So the light workers, because basically the idea is that I help them, grow their business, get new clients, etc. So very practical, but also for the end clients, right? The people who are going to get the services.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's something that, yeah, it's both needed. So what I have now, basically, I have the onboarding process for the light workers, right? And I have what you said to work closer with some of them, because my waitlist, people can join for free, but you also can join as a founding member. So for a price. So these founding members are people who want to support the project and also be more closely involved in the marketing launch campaign, participate in our social media, our podcast, etc. But at this point, I think are people who really believe in it, and they want to support it.
Yeah. Yep.
Which for me, I don't take it for granted. It's really amazing, to see like a
Mm-hmm.
new project and say, okay, I want to support it. um yeah, it's amazing. So when people join the wait list, we do the onboarding. So for the onboarding, basically, okay, now it's quite manual. So I send them an email with information about the platform, about next steps, what to expect, etc., and also a document that they fill in with their profile. And also at the end there is a questionnaire, and I ask this kind of questions like, where is your business right now, how much you earn, how much you want to earn extra, where are the points where you want to put more focus on, etc. So I get a first idea of where everybody is. So I take this information and then I see, okay, how can I, after we launch, like how can I support everybody better. based on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then indeed, like when there are results, because okay, we're gonna know how many clients everybody gets, etc. It's of course natural to promote that internally to more light workers as a case study. That okay, this platform is basically for them to grow their business. And
Mm-hmm.
I see also I have not a few, like I have a few cases that there are people who just starting with it, right? They're in this transition phase, that they have another job, like a day job, and they want to make their light worker, let's say, job like their main thing. So for me, that's really really nice, because I'm like, okay, we're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
I'm doing
Yeah.
exactly the same, so it would be amazing to help these people who want to make the transition from one profession to another.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then for the clients, there will be, of course, I think testimonials and references are like very important. And also use like client stories, client transformations, and really use them in the communication, because I think in this area of spirituality services, from my experience, I want to make them very down to earth. I want people to come and say, okay, I come here because I want to achieve this in my life, and I want this very practical result, because I think that's how we change things. And that's how also I got into spirituality myself, and how it helped me. I was not spiritual at all before. Like that was like very closed door to me, I was like really not in this area. But then I was meditating, and I go to learn, the science behind meditation, or the science behind spirituality. Not because I was interested, because I wanted to build a life that I was dreaming about, and I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to become a person that I know I can become, and my fullest potential and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, so these are tools that we have to build this life, to become these people, etc., or to heal, or whatever everybody wants. So these are practical tools, and now we also know how they work, and science is catching up explaining how these things work. And also there is like proof and scientific research of the results. So I'm like, okay, if you show me a tool and you also show me proof that it works, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's not about believing anymore. It's about, okay, here are the facts, and here what you can do to achieve those results. I'm like, okay, I'm in.
It's like a
And then
proven system.
yeah, so after I had experienced the change in my life, and after I had seen things on myself, etc., and after I was like very committed into it, then I kind of experienced a spiritual awakening that it really shifted my perspective. But it was like after I had done a lot of work, focused on the practicalities of my everyday life, how I'm as a person, what I feel, and also what I create in my day to day. So these are the stories I want to create also for people who will come to the platform to get solutions.
Yeah.
I want them to come with the expectation that, okay, this is gonna help me achieve this in my life, or change this, or create this. And then indeed, like after they get the results, we're gonna use these stories, of course, as testimonials to show them outside and say, okay, an option for you, like this is a tool, this is an option that there exists out there, and for people who want similar results, they're welcome to come.
Yeah. It's like closing that loop for full circles. Like find the service, receive the service. Let's share your experience about the service so others can have this transformation like you experienced just by meeting this service provider via the platform that you're creating. So you touched on a few things that I just wanted to comment on. And like in your own spiritual journey, you mentioned work. You had this transformation, but no transformation doesn't come without some work. Sounded like you did some internal work yourself. And that's how you got to this transformation. Another thing that you touched on, or I guess just in your messaging in general, which is why I think you're going to do so great and continue to do so great as your own CEO and your own entrepreneurship journey, is you really do care about the customer. You can hear it as you talk. You really want to help not only these service providers, but their customer base. And so when you find that area of helping others succeed in their business, I just think that's such a good, it's just a done for you model almost. When you have that passion to help others, it just naturally, with some work, but naturally is successful when you have that mindset. And then, you've touched on one other thing that I wanted to bring to importance about the creation process. So you started talking about how you onboard customers today and it's quite manual. They fill out a form and you're filling it out on the back end. I would imagine one day there'll be like self onboarding where people fill it out themselves, but you don't have to do that right away. And I want the listeners to hear this so strong. It is okay to be manual. Like, launch something. It might be a little bit more work on your end, but guess what? Less cost. You get it out there earlier. You start gaining a customer base, and then these things will come over time. You don't have to build the whole, usually you have to build a whole ship to make it float. But in entrepreneurship, you don't have to do that. You can build the plane and fly it too, or as you're flying it, or build the ship as you're sailing it. So I really recommend, others to take some tips from Elina's book here and just launch stuff, even if it is not perfect yet.
Yeah, actually, you're very right. And that's something I do a lot now during the MVP phase, right? Because, okay, I have this urgency. I'm like, okay, I need to put things out and start putting water in the flow, like flow through the system. So I need to also give it to end clients. And then I have the platform, then I'm going to build like a business manager, which is an admin tool for light workers to go create the profile on their own, manage everything on their own, etc. But I'm like, is this absolutely necessary for me to launch the MVP? No. So I'm like, okay, cut it out. Because the MVP is really an MVP. It's like the minimum viable product. So what is the least I can do that it works and it gives like the whole value proposition, let's say. It might not have like all the features or everything you want. But I'd rather put something out as quick as possible to get things started. And then, everything is going to come later on.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I said this before, but that this is my favorite part of the whole entrepreneurship process, and it's so, so important. So I thank you for sharing a little bit about how you use these steps in your own business journey. And I hope others, if this is an introduction, if you haven't heard of MVP before or minimal viable product, to definitely tune in to other episodes. We talk about this exact subject in depth. There's tons of stuff out there on the internet and books, but get accustomed to it. It's definitely the right path to go when you're creating something new. Basically, it's get something out there that is minimum but valuable to some type of customer base, usually early adopters. Test it as you build more stuff in parallel. Just to get some momentum in your business and also direction for your product as well. So again, thank you so much for being with us today. Where can people find you if they're interested in just checking out your web-based platform, or even becoming an early adopter, or even a future customer for you to connect?
Yes.
Those customer base with spiritual like providers.
So the platform is called Ascended Lightworkers. You can find it at ascendedlightworkers.com, and you can also find it on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Our channels there.
Yeah, and we'll put everything in the show notes, so please check that out. And I'm really excited to follow your journey. Maybe I'll become, I'm not a provider at all, but maybe I'm a customer of one of the providers you connect me with on your web-based platform once you get to that stage in your product. So really, really excited for you. Again, thank you so much for providing these valuable inputs to our customer or to listeners here today. Any last thoughts you want to leave with our group of entrepreneurs? Anything inspirational that you can share with others?
I think I just want to say, I don't know if that's experience for everybody, but I think if you have the virus inside of you of entrepreneurship, no matter what you do in life, it's always gonna be there. Like I've always been going like from job to job, etc. And it's always something inside of me that says you got to do it, you need to do it, that's for you, etc. And I think it's not gonna go away. So so I think if people have the same values, I think I just listen to it and go do it. I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is a virus that doesn't just run its course and go away. You got to go after it.
Yeah,
So,
if it's for you, then it's a signal. And I believe we should listen to our internal signals and our intuitions. Because, yeah, this is where we're going to get the most joy, the most fulfillment out of it. And I think finding this, golden point where you can combine your skills with also your passions and making an impact that it's like bigger than yourself. I think that's something that gives so much energy.
yeah, fantastic. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your time visiting Greece. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in today.